Welcome to this presentation on how cactuses survive and produce energy. It's for Assignment Activity Unit 3 in the Introduction to Biology course, currently being instructed by Rizwana Mubin at the University of the People. This presentation is presented by Mohid Alam, so that's me. Hi. And yeah, let's get started. So this is kind of like a summary of everything. Uh, how cactuses take energy to grow and survive. So basically, cactus uses sunlight as its main energy source. It's just like every other plant, it uses sunlight as its energy source. So it converts sunlight into glucose food by photosynthesis and then stores water in its thick stems to survive dry conditions. So mostly they are in the desert environment, so it's really kind of a miracle plant, and it absorbs minerals from soil for nutrients, right? Just like every other plant, of course. And okay, so before we actually go into the differences of how cactus is different from other plants, let's go back and understand photosynthesis because it is exactly the same process in cactus as well. So, like all green plants, cactus uses photosynthesis to make food. So it is going to intake carbon dioxide and water and sunlight to produce glucose and oxygen. Now, it is not exactly the same like other plants. It's a little bit different in cactus uh, because it's a special type of photosynthesis known as CAM photosynthesis, and it stores its food as its glucose as malic acid. Some cactuses also produce certain types of fruits, I think, but mostly mostly they produce malic acid, so they store their glucose as malic acid. Now we're going to go further in depth of how this photosynthesis is different in cactuses compared to other plants. But for now, let's just understand that the basics are pretty simple. That cactus, like other plants, use photosynthesis uh, to produce its food and produce oxygen. Okay, so enzymes are cactus's helpers. So we can think of enzymes as these little biological catalysts. So they come in and they help in these chemical reactions. So they are going to help in making food, basically photosynthesis, and they're going to help in breaking down that food during the respiration process to release energy. So if enzymes fail, the cactuses cannot produce their own energy and they will not be able to survive. They are extremely essential for the process in enzymes. Basically, they're extremely essential in all kinds of plants, but in cactuses, they are very important. Uh, yeah, so let's move on. Yeah, now we're going to get into respiration. So how cactus turn their glucose, their food, into energy, ATP, right? So they convert the glucose that they have, and it gets broken down inside their cells into ATP. So they take in glucose and oxygen and produce carbon dioxide. And in this process, they also release water and energy, uh, which is which is basically the energy that they need to survive, right? And yeah, and this process is known as cellular respiration. And yeah, they produce ADP, which is basically the plant's energy currency. That's exactly what they need to survive. So ATP powers their repair, and their water-saving features. So everything that makes it special comes from ADP. In fact, everything that makes any plant special comes from ADP, which happens through the respiration process where they actually use glucose uh, and oxygen to produce carbon dioxide, water, and energy. Now, now we're going to get into the differences. Like, what is it that a cactus does differently, right, compared to other plants that makes it special? So, just like other plants, it uses sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide to make glucose and oxygen. But this photosynthesis process is very unique in such a way that it does not absorb carbon dioxide from the outside environment. Instead, it uses carbon dioxide from the crassulacean acid that it has stored inside of it. So this uh, uh, CO2 actually comes from this acid, which which it creates at night, and basically at night it opens its pores, stomata. It opens them at night and it takes in carbon dioxide, and then that carbon dioxide is stored uh, as an acid which is then used in the day for the photosynthesis process, right? In the day, it does not open its stomata to preserve its water. So if it opens stomata during the day, it will become hard to preserve water because, as you know, they often are in very harsh conditions where there's a serious lack of water. So by doing so, by opening pores only at night, it prevents its water loss and uh, prevents its water loss. So it's not just that; it also has a thick waxy skin and spines. So usually other plants have leaves, but cactus has spines, right? So these are these thick, like organs that allow them to save water and as well as protect the plant, right? So this allows them to preserve their water, and yeah. Now, in conclusion, so stomata open at night in cactuses, unlike other plants where it opens 24/7 and it intakes CO2. It intakes CO2 at night and stores this CO2 as in the form of an acid, which it uses during the day to do photosynthesis to produce glucose and releases oxygen at the same time. Now this oxygen, it was became kind of confusing for me when I was studying about this. That okay, how does it release this oxygen when the stomata is closed? So yeah, I found out that they somehow found a way to release it, even if the stomata is closed, from I think by leaking it or some way. And yeah, photosynthesis only occurs during the day, but respiration occurs all the time. So respiration requires oxygen. So you might be wondering if respiration occurs all the time, how does it happen during the day when the stomata is closed? So because it needs oxygen, right, to do respiration. Uh, the oxygen comes from photosynthesis, right? So when photosynthesis occurs, it actually has it produces oxygen, and that oxygen is stored in the stomatous tissues, and that oxygen is then used for respiration. It does not really need to absorb oxygen from outside. Mostly the oxygen comes from the plant itself, which is it has produced by doing photosynthesis during the day. So yeah, in conclusion, cactuses have many water-saving adaptations like spines. They also have wide fibrous roots, which are very close to the surface. So as soon as a little or a small amount of rainwater comes, they quickly are able to absorb it. So yeah, they have a lot of adaptations that allow them to save water and survive in the harsh uh, desert conditions. All right, thank you. This would be it for this presentation. I hope you liked it and take care. See you soon. Bye.